Okay, what I want to show here is how you can create a car animation with Flash using movie clips. So here's the finished deal. Let me just hit Control Enter. There it is. You can see exhaust pipe moves, wheels turn, smoke comes out, and that's it. So let's kill that. File new. We'll do something from scratch. And let me just change the sizes on this a little bit. Let's say, I'll say 600 by 100. Give us really small space, but it'll work. And okay. And let's just resize this a little bit. A little tight in here. Maybe I'll make that a little bit bigger. 150. Um, okay. Recording it at 800 by 600. So let's start off with the car. This is going to be really quick and dirty design, so don't worry about what the design looks like. There's the car. I know it's horrible. So there's the car. Let's select it, double click it, modify, convert to symbol, and we'll call it car. Movie clip, registration, upper left hand corner. And now I'm going to double click it and get into it. Notice, scene one, car. We're in the car. So now I'm going to use my eraser and just show that we can edit this some more if we wanted to. Okay, I know it's a horrible looking car. So now we'll go ahead and make this layer say that it's the car layer or the car image layer or whatever you want to call it. Next layer will be rear wheel. Next layer will be front wheel. Next layer will be pipe for exhaust pipe. And the next layer will be smoke for the exhaust pipe smoke. Let's drag this down a little bit so we can see our layers. And I'll start off with the wheels. Let's start with the wheels. So I'm going to just change these things a little bit so that I can make some wheels using my oval tool, something like that. And let's bump our stroke size up so it looks a little bit better. And I'll just grab all this. Let's do one more thing so we can see when it turns. I'm going to make some little dots here. Okay. So there it is. Modify, convert to symbol. This is rear wheel, so call it movie clip. Rear wheel movie clip. And let's make a copy of this. Whoops, we made this on the wrong layer, didn't we? See how it's going away? Let's take it and Control X and go to our rear wheel layer and Control V. And let's also put one on the front wheel layer, Control V. Okay, so we've got two now. There's a rear wheel. Let's stick it in the rear. And there's a front wheel. Stick it in the front. Now we could make these unique by just right-clicking and saying duplicate symbol, but we don't really need to right now because they can look the same since they're wheels. So for the pipe, let's go to the pipe layer and draw a pipe out. On this one I'm going to say I don't want any stroke. Just a little pipe like that. Maybe a little darker so we can see it better. Double click it and change our color. And now let's make that a movie clip. So we'll call it Pipe MC. And we'll just move it over here. Okay, so we got our car, wheels, exhaust pipe. Let's do our smoke. Smoke, use a brush tool for that, and I'll go with a little bit darker color, maybe like that. And we'll just start the smoke coming out here. And what I'm going to do is select this smoke, turn it into a movie clip, smoke MC, and we'll go into the movie clip, and we'll do every like third frame, we'll change the smoke. And you could do more frames than this, but this is about all I have time for is every third frame. So I'm going to go F7, makes a new frame. And I could start drawing now, but it's nice to see what the previous frame had in it. So I'll hit the onion skin tool so I can see that. And just drag that back. And I want this smoke to kind of come up and disperse a little bit. So every 3 frames, or 4 frames, let's say, We'll have this stuff kind of come up and it'll start dispersing soon. Maybe it kind of comes off in different trails here. I'm trying to make them similar enough to where it's believable. And I can scroll over a little bit and up a little bit so I can do this right. It's kind of coming up in the air. Now there's a lot of different ways you could think of your smoke, but this is just an idea. Experiment. And we'll go all the way to frame 20 and put our last one in the interest of time. And this is really not that good a smoke, but it's the idea I want you to get, not necessarily the craftsmanship of what I'm doing here. So I'm going to turn off the onion skin tool. We can see what it does now. Now we could go into each one of these and create a motion tween. However, we can't do it right here. We'd be better off with a, let's remove the tween, we'd be better off with a, oh, that works pretty good. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go back to the car level, and we're going to make it so we can see the car for 40 frames. And that's just an F5. And then rear wheel, I want to see that for 40 frames also, but I want to be able to make it turn. So I'm going to hit F6 to copy the keyframe. Same thing on the other wheel and the pipe. And on the smoke, every 10 frames, I'm going to say I want a copy of that. I need to make some changes on it. Let me take that back. We're going to do that on the pipe. And on the smoke, let me just grab all these, right-click, remove frames, and try it again. I'll do one on frame 20, 21, and 40. And I'll show you why. First, let's get the wheels going. So, the wheels. Let's pick the rear wheel, right-click, and create a motion tween. With motion tweens on the rear wheel and the front wheel, I can select the motion tween. The Properties panel gives me the option to rotate the wheel, and I'm going to rotate it, not using auto, but using CW, which is clockwise. I'm going to rotate it, let's say, 5 times. And then on this next one, I'm going to do the same thing. Rotate clockwise 5 times. And for the pipe, I'm going to take the first rotation, use my transform tool, and just rotate this to where that pipe's kind of bouncing around. Maybe a little bit more than that. And we can exaggerate because it's a cartoon. And so you can see the pipes bouncing around, but we can smooth that out a little bit by right-clicking and saying we want a motion tween on all these, in between all these frames. Just right-clicking. And then here for the smoke, here's what I'm going to do with that. On frame 20, I'm going to say that I want, let me grab the smoke, to change color to alpha and make it just barely visible. And I'll do the same thing on the last frame. And we've got to click on the smoke to get access to the color component, which is alpha 16% or whatever. Now we can also, on frame 20, we can say this thing moves up. It just kind of floats up, and then on the last frame it also floats up, maybe a little bit differently. And we can make both of these motion tweens also by right-clicking. So that's what we get. And so if we go back now to the scene level, we can move this car from the start, being halfway into the scene, and to frame 40, I'll hit F6, and I'll move it to, I'll use my control key or my shift key and my right arrow, and just drag it all the way over to about halfway in the scene. And on that, I'll put in a motion tween also. And then we'll just hit Control Enter and see what happens. It's moving pretty fast though, so I'm going to go in and select the stage and say that I want, instead of 20 frames a second, I want 12. And Control Enter. So it's kind of getting there. You can see the wheels are turning, or they should be. It may be going so fast that it's hard for us to see them turn. But they are, and if we go into the car model and we just look at it this way, you can see them turning. Okay, so that's how you can use movie clips within movie clips to make a car animation.